Hey guys, welcome on back to the AnKorage where everything is awesome, and we are now into November. It is November 2nd, and to be more precise, 12:06 as I look at the clock. So there we go. I was just playing around earlier on Linux Mint, and I happened to come across an It's Foss article about playing around with the desktop in Linux Mint. And I also wanted to kind of share a little bit about that, and I also wanted to describe a little bit about what I do with Switch to Linux, because this video is for that. So that's today on Tux Quest. Okay, I'm back. After I did that intro, I took a quick moment and realized I was hungry. I wanted to have lunch, so had myself a little seafood salad sandwich, and here I am. So you'll notice the pineapple isn't there because I've got it right here. The battery's low on it, so I gotta switch it out. I'll do that later. Whatever, I'll just put it down here for now. But anyhow, back to what we're talking about. We are going over a couple of things. Why don't we just start off with the Switch to Linux stuff? You'll notice on the thumbnail that I've got, down in this corner, a somewhat large image that it created that mimics the Switch to Linux logo, and it says the AnKorage for Switch to Linux. My involvement with Switch to Linux, it is, switched to Linux, getting off of Windows, getting off of Mac, getting off of, any of those big tech company operating systems into something that, that the user controls and can operate, and it's just as easy to use. And especially these days with all the distributions that are out, it's like, you can find the one that you like the best and you can fly with it, and there you go. And my distribution of choice happens to be Linux Mint, which we were talking, what was it, night before last, we had a hangout. We didn't have the supporter stream, we had a hangout, and we were talking about different things. And I think, if I remember correctly, something came up about Linux Mint being like a place for the refugees. I think it may have been a comment on the Weekly News Roundup last night. I can't remember. It's like, it's like thought comes in, thought goes out, gone, whatever. But anyhow, somewhere in the past couple of days or so, it came out that Linux Mint happens to be for Windows refugees. I agree with that comment because I happen to be a Windows refugee. Many of us happen to be refugees that from using the Windows. There you go. I first found it back in 14, so 10 years ago. And it did, it was, even back then, it did everything that I wanted it to, or that I needed for, personal productivity. And, yeah, so that was that. And I've been using it ever since. And I used it today as my daily driver. I used the Debian edition of Linux Mint, which is affectionately called LMDE, or Linux Mint Debian Edition. That's on Solaria, which is my main Linux box. And this one that this video is being taken on does happen to be on Windows. But I could certainly be producing this on the Linux box. I'm only using this one because it does happen to have better hardware, newer hardware, I guess you could call it that. For example, the GPU, the graphics card. In Solaria, it's a 1660 Ti NVIDIA, and on this machine, it happens to be a 3070 RTX. So it's got ray tracing on it, whoop-de-doo. And it's for playing my one game, which I'm on a hiatus from right now because it's just not, it's like, the latest expansion came out, and you play underground, and I don't want to play underground. And it's like I want to be up in the world or on another planet or something like that. Something where I can be outdoors. That's where I come into play. That's where, that's where my interest is. And I haven't played for a few months now, and why should I keep giving them $15 a month when I'm not playing, when I'm not really playing it? I can still go on there with my free account. No, it's free for any characters that are level 20 or below. So I can still go on there anytime I want, because I got a couple of characters that are below that, and I can futz around and kill chickens in Goldshire, whatever. And yeah, so anyhow, yeah, so that's what this machine is for. And also I do my videos on here just because it's easier, and just to have some, at this point it's to have something to do on this machine. Could I do this on Solera? Absolutely. Do I need to? No. I've got it on this, I can put it on there, I can do it on here, whatever. I just do it on here just to give Windows a little bit of exercise. It's Windows 10. So, and will I upgrade it to Windows 11? The machine is capable of it, but it's always telling me no. And I'm like, okay, if you can't, it's like Microsoft. If you can't detect, or you can't decide to stay on, yeah, I can upgrade. Why should I bother? Might it convert it over to Linux in the future? I just might. But I also have virtual machines on here, and I actually have Linux virtual machines on here. And we're actually going to be using one of them and in today. So in relation to switch to Linux, where do I come in? Well, I happen to be a supporter of it. I'm a patron on Patreon, and I give just a little something. And what that allows me to do is to be involved with the supporter streams. So the same camera that this is, the same angle, same camera. This is what I use in the same microphone and everything. It's just not the border graphic. But I get on supporter streams on Thursday nights, 7:00 p.m. Eastern, and and we talk about different topics and related to Linux, and things that could be Linux involved, or some other stuff outside of that, privacy, security, things of that sort, and we have a blast. And then after the support stream's done, we all stay on, and we actually review all of the stories for the weekly news roundup. We decide which ones should be put on and put off to the side, which ones would be better off as standalone videos, and there we go. And then Tom goes along with that and makes his own decisions on it, because it's his show, and he gets the ultimate decision on things. But he likes our input on it. He appreciates that, and we have a blast on it and stuff like that. We've got myself, we've got Dan, and we've got Soulboom. So they got me here in Southern New Hampshire, and we have Dan. He's over in Michigan, and then we have Soulboom over in Norway. And we recently, over the past couple of streams, supporter streams, we've had another individual. His name is Alex, and he happens to be right near me. He's like right up the highway a little ways. Excuse me. And yeah, so it's really cool. He's from Romania originally. He's been here for a few years, and it's awesome to have another guy, and especially to have another local and near me. Like really near me, like right up the road. It's awesome. Now, what else do I do for switch to Linux? It's like I give a little bit of money towards it, but it's really all that I can really. I could afford a little more, but it's like I really can't. I shouldn't. So, looking at my situation and stuff like that. So I'm like, I give the little bit of cash, and I'm allowed to participate in the supporter streams. And it would just feel better if I was able to provide something more. So I'm like, why don't I try to volunteer a little bit of my time and a little bit of my resources that I don't have to pay cash for or anything like that. Just stuff that I can just do and just kind of try to help out. So I post out on social media about new videos and the supporter streams and the weekly news roundups and the premieres on Saturday and stuff like that. I am also a moderator on YouTube during the streams, and I also moderate on Odyssey, and I also, I'm also there out on Rumble. Right now, I can't moderate on Rumble. I don't know if it's possible to assign moderators on Rumble. I haven't looked into that, and it's been so long. Tom hasn't either. But that's neither here nor there. But I do that, and so I've been, of course, doing my Linux videos, such as this one, and this one in particular, I'm producing it not so much as a gift, but it's content that would fit along with the switch to Linux idiom or whatever it is. That kind of environment and stuff like that. Because we are going to be taking a look at having a little fun with the Linux desktop in Linux Mint. And so why don't we get into that? So if we were to come out to It's Foss. Now, it's the It's Foss website, so itsfoss.com. But let me just, itsfoss.com. And we have this article that I just happened to see this morning, and it's like, hey, this might make some good content for a video. So 9 desktop effects to add eye candy to Linux Mint in particular. And so if we scroll down and go through it, well, the prerequisite, it says you want to install extensions for Windows effects. So basically, it goes through all of the steps, and then it tells you how to do it, and then it starts talking about some of the individual little bit effects. And I want to demonstrate some of this. So why don't we switch over, and we're going to take a look at this. So here we have my Linux Mint VirtualBox. And of course, it's not asleep. It's just, the screen is locked. So I come back over to here. Yep, it's my AnKorage Linux Mint 22 test VM. And so if I put in my super secret password, that is definitely not 123, we get back in. And that is something from Tom, that the whole super secret password comment, because that's where I'm taking it from. Because it applies, and and this is just a virtual machine that I run very seldomly. I haven't even run updates, as you can see down here. I've got 13 updates available. Well, I'm not going to worry myself about that right now. That is being saved for when I do my monthly maintenance, because I do all of my virtual machines. I don't have a whole lot of them, but I do have some. But anyways, what we're talking about here is, okay, this happens to be a Linux Mint 22, and I'll show you why. This is Linux Mint 22 Cinnamon, as it says right up in here. So if we come down to the menu button and you punch in, of course, start to type in the word settings, system settings. So if we go there, this window is going to pop up. And what we want to do is we want to come down to, in the preferences area, to extensions. So it's going to take a moment. And, of course, there's no extensions on here right now. So we want to download some extensions. So here we go. Here they are. So we are going to download a couple of these. And one right off the bat is transparent panels. So if we look down at the taskbar, this is what's known as a panel in Linux Mint. And we can see that it's gray and such. So if we were to download that, it's downloaded. It's got the check mark to say it's downloaded. And if we go to manage up here, there it is right there. So what we need to do is turn this on. Well, I'm going to be clicking this plus sign right here, and that will actually activate it, and you're going to see this somewhat disappear. See that? It says transparent panels enabled. Open the extension settings and customize your panels. And you can do that, but I'm not going to go into all of that necessarily, but you can click right on this gear right here, which goes into it, and it gives you everything that you can do with it. I suggest popping in here and playing with it. Me, I am just happy to have that transparent. That's kind of fun. I've actually got my LMDE on Stellaria set up like that. So what else can we do? Well, we can also get something kind of fun. Let's see, you got GTile. That'd be worth checking out. Dynamic wallpaper, desktop cube. You know, if you want to watermark, place a watermark on the desktop. You know, some people might want to do that. But if we scroll down here, if we go to burn my windows, this one's fun. I've picked this one. So I'm downloading that. And if I go back to manage, there it is right there, and I'm going to turn it on. Highlight that. Click the plus, activate it, and there we go. Now I want to go to my settings. But I want to show you real quick what, if you watch the activity of the window, watch what it does. Now, that was pretty quick, but it kind of flew into place. So I'm going to just go back into that. You see that? It kind of did that little swirl effect. There we go. Isn't that cool? But I want to show you a neat thing with Burn My Windows. Is if we go into the settings for it, we got General. Now that is an apparition. Not quite Ghostbusters apparition, but an apparition. And you've got a whole lot of these different things. This one is cool. Energized A and B. This would be, and you know, energized. This is kind of like a Star Trek kind of thing. So if I was to close that, you see that disappear. That came back up. It's there. You see that? That's like a transporter energizing. And do that. And if I close it again, that's kind of fun. And if we go to B, we're going to get the next generation era effects. Kind of neat. Now, my favorite one that I'm using happens to be TV Glitch. I'll show you what that one looks like. Watch this. It shuts off like an old CRT television. And it turns on like an old CRT television. But if we go into effect settings, you know, effect selector, now we want to see the settings for the effect for TV Glitch. So here they are. So basically it's just the scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop out of that because there's more to it than just that. There it is. All right, so effect settings, here we go. So scale, 1. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Strength, speed. I'm going to slow this down to 1. Or as close to it as I can. Just move the sliders accordingly. That's fine. And the effect, the changes take effect right away. I don't have to close it or open it or reboot or anything like that. It's immediate. So if I close it, it's a little faster. Okay. There we go. Now now you'll notice that the color on it happens to be blue. Well, the color for the AnKorage is green. So why don't we go back to edit? See that? There's that blue. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to select the green. Do that. Select it and watch now. It's green. Isn't that kind of neat? So there we go. And, you know, you can change all of this. I can bring that down even further. I could bring it up. Yeah. Now the speed changes when you go up or down. They're very minuscule because it's only supposed to be, you know, it's only supposed to act so fast. But me, I like something more akin to like a computer monitor glitch. So why don't I do that? And I'll take this and I'll drop these down. Let's say, see how that looks. Yep, that's what I like. Excuse me. And so it is very cool. I do like that. Now, effective duration, milliseconds. Yeah, I dropped that down to 400, let's say. It's a lot quicker. And there we are. And if I bring it up a little fast, you bring it up higher, it'll go a lot slower. So you can actually make these changes and have the effects that you want. So I'm 200, 200. There we go. Boop. There we go. All right. Nice and fast. That's pretty much what I've got going on over on Solaria. Now, there is one extra piece of this that you could do to kind of make it more cool, I guess you could say. And what I want to do is I want to add a sound to this. So I'm going to close this. That's gone. That's gone. And I'm going to add sounds to those effects. So if I punch in, go to menu and punch in sound, well, I get my sound right there. I go into that, and here it is. With Linux Mint, you have the ability out of the box to assign sounds to different actions. Starting cinnamon, leaving cinnamon, switching, opening new windows, closing new windows, minimizing, maximizing, unmaximizing, tiling, snapping, inserting a device, you know, stuff like that. And you know, I've actually gone out and I've actually brought a couple of sounds over from Solaria, and you can see it. And to activate them, you just turn on the toggle, just like that, and you know, you turn them off and on, and everything. And so what I did is I went out and I grabbed sounds from Solaria, I brought them over, and I've got it all prepped up to go. So when I open a new window, I get this sound. And if I close one, I get this sound. So if I close this, nothing happens. See that? So if I go to sounds, and now if I activate these two in particular, those are now active, and now when I close it, you'll get the effect from the window closing, and you'll also get the sound at the same time. When I open, isn't that cool? So you can use anything you want and stuff like that. Me, I like having, you know, computery effects and stuff like that too, to some degree. Those sounds came from the Blizzard game StarCraft that I played over 20 years ago, and they're good sounds. So I wanted to use it. So that's actually pretty cool. Was that out and everything? That's kind of cool. Oh. So there we are. That's nothing really major, nothing super mega in depth, but it's just something just kind of a little fun, something to do. So, and that's for this edition of Tusk Quest, and I made it, you know, it's the AnKorage 4 switch to Linux. Just something a little fun. Just spend some time. And that's more or less going to be it on the main part of this video. If I had more time, I'd go into it a lot deeper than that. However, we're coming up on 5 minutes to 1 right now. And it's movie day here at the condo complex, and I happen to be the projectionist for it. Volunteer. And because this is anything computer related is a hobby, and I've got a a projector, an LCD projector that I can plug into my laptop. That happens to be Scotty, and I'm going to play a movie off of it. And I got a big screen, and I've got a little sound box speaker that's Bluetooth. And it's like, when it comes to Bluetooth, and this is like with the thing with like a whole like switch to Linux and stuff like that, you don't want to use Bluetooth if you absolutely don't need to be using it. And if, whenever you're not using it, shut it off. And as far as my use with Bluetooth, it is strictly only for audio connections, no data, just audio connections. So I feel that's a pretty safe use of Bluetooth. And so I'm fine with going ahead and using it for that purpose. But I do follow. It's like, if I have no need to use it at any particular time, I don't have Bluetooth running. On my phone, I do use the audio connection for two devices. One is this guy. This is my earpiece. I use that just so that I'm hands-free, and I can have it here and not have to have my phone irradiating my cranium. I'd rather have this in there, safer. And I also have the audio connection in my car because I have music on it. So I play it through the radio. And I also can actually use the telephone portion for phone calls. So make sure that's hands-free. So I can drive like I'm talking to Kit. So there we go. Yeah, so if I had more time, I'd go into things about, some desktop tweaks a little more. But I do have that movie projection thing to do for the condo complex, and I have to go over there in about 3 hours to go set up. And yeah, I could spend a lot more time on it, but I have to kind of get myself ready for it. All my stuff's over there already except for the computer itself. Scotty's in the bedroom on the charger, and I've got a little table right over there, and now I got to bring that up, and I have to get my I have to prep my bag, the laptop bag, which is that guy right there. So to put my extra power cord in and a couple other things to bring it over. So and that's going to be fun tonight. And I'm going to be somewhat impressed with myself. I've already tested it out, and I'm like, holy crap, look what I did. So, and what makes it even better is that all that stuff is mine. I used to work with projectors at my own work down that way, but that was in the training room, and I used to do presentations on it. And yeah, so it'll be kind of fun with Freya, because I used to work with Freya, and so she got to see me doing that stuff like that. She'll see me hook this stuff up again and doing this stuff again to a degree, and I'll just be like, are you creeped out yet? So there we go. So anyways, enough talking from me. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much for coming along. If you happen to like this video, please give it a like. Please share it with your friends, colleagues, business associates, anything like that. So family, friends, acquaintances, business, whatever. Yep, there you go. Please share it. And if you happen to like it, if you want to see more of this stuff, please subscribe. And if you want to see anything from Switch to Linux, the link's right down below to his channels on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, and out on BitChute. All those links will be right down there. Take a look at that, and as well as his website. And I highly recommend that you jump on Thursday nights for the supporter stream on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, D Live, and Twitch, because he streams on Twitch and D Live as well. So I think he was starting to test everything regarding BitChute, but it wasn't wasn't working out quite right for him at that particular time. I just don't know if he's actually done anything more on that. That's why I don't include it on my announcements. Because it's like, why have more places? I mean, he uses up enough electricity just transmitting out what he transmits to all these other places. Granted, they don't use up a lot of a lot of power going out. It's probably more so on the data side of things. But even then. But I am going to call it there. And that's all the information that I've got for you. So why don't you come on back next time? We might do some more computer stuff. I might do some more Ghostbuster stuff. I might be doing some stuff around home. Who knows? Yeah, I'm waiting to do any more stuff with my regular camera, mainly because I'm switching out my lavalier mic. And because the one I've got right now is a corded one, it's 18 feet long, so it's not a problem. But for the sake of the freedom to move around and not have to worry about taking it off and putting it back on all the time, I've ordered a wireless one, which should be arriving today. Today is Saturday, the 2nd. And then I'll probably be able to do something along those lines in the next week or two. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, I happened to ask Tom what the one was that he uses, and he let me know, and I'm like, I'm gonna get the same thing if you don't mind. So it's just like the lighting is also, they're up. I've got two of them. They're up there. Let me grab one. Here's one, and I'll shut it off. This is one of them. I got two of these, and yeah, that's bright. And even if I turn them down all the way, they are mega bright. That's why I have them up on the shelves. They're on the second to last one up. So that's why I'm, you can probably see the shading in the upper part of my eyes, because the light hits here and gets dark down there. So yeah, if I'm actually looking at the image, yeah. So that's why I try to keep my head up a little bit so you can see my face a little lit up. And yeah, I've got my vertical blinds shut because we're heading that part of the year where the sun outside becomes a laser inside of here, and I don't like that. It's very uncomfortable. So I shut my blinds unless I go outside. It's kind of like closing myself in on a cave, but it's just the angle the building was built on. It points southwest. Southwest, southwest, something like that. Right in between there. And yeah, so that's what we're doing with that. So thank you very much for coming along. Skull, we'll talk to you soon, I hope. Don't forget, Buster Quest is going to be coming up again soon. There you go. Drink to victory.